Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Will Finley, and I am the creator here of the content on 411 Now, and I'd like to welcome you. So today we're taking a look at the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case again, but more particularly, we're looking at good old crazy Mark Means. Mark Means is at it again. So the other day, Mark Means has filed yet another crazy motion. And the interesting part that a lot of people should really pay attention to is when you have co-counsel, everything that you file is normally done where both attorneys' names are on the actual paperwork, the motion filing, the request for evidence, the lowering of bail, setting a court date. Everything has both attorneys on it. The last two motions filed by Mark Means have not listed co-counsel Mr. Archibald on them anywhere. It hasn't listed him as co-counsel. It hasn't listed him even as someone to be served a copy of, a receipt of, receival of the actual motion itself. He has been acting on his own as if his co-counsel doesn't exist. But the motion that Mark Means filed the other day, again, is a motion that wasn't really heard. It wasn't really even discussed. It was just outright denied the first time around. So he figured he'd wait a couple months and file it again. And you can clearly see the reason behind it is his inexperience at the type of trial that he's facing here, a murder trial. He has no experience at that. He is a litigator by profession, and he doesn't know the ins and outs of the justice system and how an actual case like this is going to unfold. So what did he actually do the other day? Well, Mark Means filed yet another motion requesting information from Melania Gibbs, a witness who is listed on the actual state's witness list. He is asking asking the court to make her give up information that she may have. What he wants her to do is he wants her to basically give up everything that she has, any kind of communication at all, between herself and Lori Vallow Daybell, along with any communication that she has had from day one to now with the DA, Mr. Woods. He wants everything, and I'm not joking, ladies and gentlemen, when I say everything. He wants everything. He wants emails, phone records for her home phone if she has one. That's what it says. Text messages on her cell phone, cell call records, that would show every phone call that she made from the time that she was listed as a witness to now. Visits and a record of visits that every time she spoke in person with the DA, Mr. Woods. Any kind of documentation receipt-wise for food, lodging, anything that shows that where she traveled to visit with Mr. Woods. Letters that she may have received in the mail from Mr. Woods, or anything correspondence-wise from the state of Idaho to her. Along with that, he's asking for a litany of other, lesser, needed things. But here's the problem. He can ask all day long for these things. It's kind of, weird that he would be, going after the witness for these things. He can ask for it, but he certainly can do that. But he doesn't have any subpoenas in place to subpoena these records. He hasn't, because, first off, the case is on hold until Lori is done with her restorative care. So he can't even get subpoenas if he wanted them. But he's trying to force Melania Gibbs to give him all this stuff. It says that also that he tried to serve her papers from his office to compel her to give up this information, but she refused. Maybe she's just waiting for the court in the case to be, to be brought back up so they can dismiss this, so they'll stop the harassment. Or maybe it's because she doesn't have any of these things in the first place. But there's a process, again, where he should be requesting this information along with his co-counsel, but he hasn't. And on the other side of it, he could request the records from Mr. Woods, himself, and say, okay, I want communication that you had with Melanie, all the emails, letters, and texts, and calls, and everything else that you may have had. He can get it from the other side, but he chooses not to even request it from them. He's requesting it from the witness. Again, this is not civil litigation. This is an actual murder trial. And for Mr. Means to be going about it this way is wrong. It's confusing. And it really makes you wonder how competent he is. Maybe what we need to do is we need to start looking for some place to send Mr. Means for restorative care. Because the man has absolutely lost his marbles. But yet here he is, drumming up more and more, work that he says he is doing so he can pad the bill and get more and more of the money. Because remember, he's not a private, hired attorney anymore. He is an attorney that the state is paying a basic wage to for the defense of Lori Vallow. He is, basically, he is a public defender. Private attorney who had moved over to public defender for this case only. I don't see how this is going to work out for him in any positive light at all. Again, maybe we should look for restorative care for Mr. Means. Because he's just as bat crazy as his client is at this point. And why is it that we haven't heard from Mr. Archibald? Is he just waiting, sitting back, and going, I bet if I give this man enough rope, he'll hang himself, and he'll work himself out of a career. And so far, Mr. Means is doing a damn good job of it.